Scott Dixon, you're a complete
That was fun, man. That was fun.
Well, first of all,
yeah, cheers.
Gas station beer.
How does it become
Milwaukee.
gas station beer, though? I think
Because I bought it at a gas station. It was the best I had.
Man, that's good stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy has no taste, but anyways, we love this guy. Diggs. So as we all predicted coming into the race, yeah, that guy starting P16, oh, he's totally going to win. Joseph Newgarden, he sucks. He's never good here. Team Penske, they're terrible. There's no way. It's going to be a complete Chip Ganassi domination. Dude.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. I think, there was so many unknowns going into this race. Even off the practice, it was an all skate for an hour. You had to try and get some long runs in. You had to try out the alternate tire, which nobody really knew. We had some incidents that cut the time by a ton. We had an issue with a damper and a spring thing that we couldn't, that probably took 10 or 15 minutes away from our practice as well. So I think for us it was really, we tried to look at all the winning strategies that we'd seen, from past times, and it had been a long time since somebody had kind of committed to a three-stopper and tried to make it work. So we spoke heavily about that, but even that was compromised. I was moaning a lot once we first got onto, the alternate tire, and I'm like, we're in a bad spot here. We're in some pretty deep traffic that was slowing us down a lot.
But they told you had pace, though.
They did once we kind of cleared that traffic, and we were able to maintain. So yeah, it was one of those things almost similar to 2 weeks ago at Indy, where you could actually run the leader pace without pushing too hard, but then also in hand, getting the fuel mileage was helping save the tires on the dig as well. So it was that sweet spot that I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it worked really well.
Your spotter, Robbie Fast, I'm drunk already. Robbie told me, I heard him give a number to Dixie. I'd never heard that number before. You'd have to tell us what it is, but you and Robbie have won a lot of races together, and his eyes got big, like, man, that was a big ask. Tell me about, how do you receive something like that? Like, come on, y'all are crazy? Or you take that as a challenge?
Yeah, I think that, I think it's always a challenge, right? You can play it out as long as you want. The tough part is really the discipline to stick to it, right? And that's the hard part. And I think probably as I mentioned earlier, the hardest part was the restart where we were leading. And we weren't even close to making it on fuel, as far as getting the mileage that we needed to. But I knew if we put a little bit of pressure on, the 4 or 5 that were behind us that were going to try and maintain the pace or even try to pass us, we'd put them in a very big hole.
Yeah.
And I knew as soon as we got to the lap traffic, we were going to be able to use them to get that mileage that we needed to. And before we knew it, within kind of 10, 15 laps, we were on the back of the pack, and we were able to get the mileage that we needed to. And at that point, most of those guys had bailed already. So it's even I think Power tried to stick it out.
Yeah.
The 27 as well. And you just knew it wasn't going to be possible without a caution. But then, with 20-30 to go, you're like, please no cautions, please no cautions. We're in a great spot here, and so it's always, these races, man, are a roller coaster. Whether it's the speed to the performance to emotions, man, are through the roof all the time.
The part that blew me away, and I think you've got some kind of Jedi mind trick going on with some of your rivals, is it was pretty clear once you got in a little ways that you were going for a 3-stop. And you are doing your best, as you should, to pull the pace down while leading and hope that those behind you who are on a 4-stopper would fall in line. Because if they recognize that, they could gas it up, pounce on you, and potentially build the lead. They didn't. That's the part I'm watching going, what are you doing? No, get him. They didn't. I'm like, they just gifted you the race. Were you aware of all that?
You try to, especially when you're leading, right, you try to manage that. You try to, on the restart, push really hard, make sure that, they're going flat out as possible. I think over the other manufacturer, we have a pretty good advantage on the mileage. And we, the next, 2, 3, 4 spots were the other manufacturer. So I think to put them under stress to start with, to show that we had the speed that we needed to run with them if we needed to, but then also backing it up and see once we backed it up how much pressure they were going to apply. But I don't think they could really attack. So it was kind of interesting. We put them into a pretty crappy position. They couldn't really fight either way. and yet here's us still getting the mileage that we needed to, and then eliminating one stop, which was pretty cool.
Bastard. All right, let's close on this, Dix. Was down, saw Ken Brooks, beaming, smile. You're long time assistant race engineer.
Yeah.
Mike Hull, obviously. Chip was as smiling as big as I've ever seen, but it's the other folks there too. Chris Simmon comes around and is like, "What do you think about that?" Your race engineer Ross Bonnell, now a two-time winner, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the energy within this team, closing the season strong. When you won your last title, 2020, you got off to a great start and maintained. How are you, the championship, it's still possible, we know it's a bit of a stretch, but tell me about this feeling, at least for how you're closing the season with this crew. Feels to me, brother, like we should start next season with y'all feeling pretty excited as well.
Yeah, it's when you're winning, it's always a great spot to be in. I think key today was Ross. Ross really was the one that was like, three-stopper could work. It's been a long time since someone's tried it. We have an alternate tire. We don't really know what that's going to do.
At Coyne, they would say the whole time, Ross is freaking brilliant.
Yeah, he's calm, but he also looks at the big picture. And I think the dynamic. Unfortunately, with the 9-car stand, it's had a lot of changes over the last few years. But I think
he's hard to work with.
You can, it's definitely not me. That guy's the problem. But it's kind of fun to see almost a little bit of relaxation too. I think for that first win to come as well has kind of helped the dynamic as well, and maybe lets everybody kind of lift and breathe a little bit as well. But I think Ross mixes well with everybody. He's a brilliant guy, a fun guy, a young guy. He's been a lot of fun to work with so far, and I know that he'll be with this team for many years, even.
Aren't you signed to like 2040 or something?
Something like that. Yeah. So it's interesting dynamic to watch the personalities work together, but it's nice to see when it works well. But yeah, we've had some ups and downs this year, just like everybody else.
All right, so I lit you up at the Brickyard with like a 12 or whatever % beer.
Yeah.
This is only like 5, so you're going to be fine. If you
I see the box is already empty though, man. So I don't know how many. I don't know who else is drinking beers.
Yeah.
Or are they all yours?
No, you try and take care of folks. your PR guy Will Erickson though said he consumed a lot of
6
these.
of them.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the little beer hat going on with the straws coming down. But so should I get prepared for a Dixie 3-peat at Portland? Give me some suggestions on what I should be buying. What do you like?
I don't know. I think what you're doing well is going local, right?
Yeah.
Indy wasn't so local. I think mine was a Mexican beer, maybe.
It was brought to me from people who came to Indy.
Okay.
Well,
that works as well.
There's some good beers in Portland. And Monterey.
I drink for effect, so it doesn't bother me.
This guy's bottled the throttle Dixon.
I'll have a go at anything.
All right, this guy here, Dix.
Cheers,
congrats again, mate.
Thanks, man.
All right.